Hey guys, I'm the Millennial Collector Ohio. You can find me on YouTube and on Instagram, and welcome to my game room. Alrighty, so my love really started basically collecting with like the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3. Some of my favorite genres on the system are RPGs, and thankfully going to a bunch of game conventions this year, I was able to finish out one of my favorite series. So Dot Hack is this game is like, I started playing it in the early 2000s. And it's one of those games where basically you play it from one game to the next game to the next game. And the fourth game was always so expensive. I was basically never able to pick it up. So I was able to finally pick this up. This is a game that I cherish, never leave my collection. Over time, you won't see a lot of filler and sports games in my collection. Over years, through trades and for sale, I was able to kind of upgrade. And so I was able to get a lot of the titles I was kind of looking for, like a bunch of horror games that are on the PlayStation, some of the expensive like Puppeteer. But this is one of those examples of, I 100% bought this game, and I think I took the price tag off, and it was like 80, 90 bucks. Mm-hmm. And this game was I bought it at the very top of it, and it's gone way down. But it was one of those ones where everybody was talking about it. I saw gameplay of it, and I just absolutely had to have it. So one of my favorite things is I go to Goodwill bins every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And before COVID, it was kind of a little bit way different. And so now, if you go there, video games are so scarce. But every once you'll find somebody that puts PS1 games into CDs, things like that. But my favorite was finding Spider-Man mixed into the DVDs.
Oh, nice.
Goodwill bins.
Yeah.
So you're talking, I paid by the pound for this game. So I paid less than $1 for this game.
That's a pricey one. Now this is beautiful.
Yeah, this is based on my pride and joy. 4 years ago, this closet was filled with baseball cards. And it was basically my goal was to fill it with games that I was looking for, to kind of games that I grew up loving, games that I always wanted. And I was able to basically pick up a bunch of complete in box games. My favorite thing though is my Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and N64 games that are in these bit boxes.
Those are nice.
Yeah, these bit boxes are absolutely amazing. These are done by Stone Age Gamer out of Salem, Ohio. And they give you that clamshell feel.
Oh wow.
Like a VHS from your Disney days, stuff like that. So if you notice that almost all my games have sleeves over top of them. Mm-hmm. All the cartridge-based games have been cleaned, the pins have been cleaned, and they're in cases so that you keep the dust off of them and keep them preserved as long as humanly possible.
Yep, I love it. I also couldn't help but notice you have a boxed Fire and Ice, which is crazy.
2 weeks in a row, I was able to pick up games in weird places. These games were at a vintage t-shirt convention, essentially. There was clothing and music and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a vendor that brought a bunch of his childhood games, a whole bunch of N64 games, Resident Evil 2, both Zelda games.
Dang.
It was pretty awesome. And literally at an auction the week before, I was at a machinery and office supply one, and a guy saw me buying games at a previous one and literally brought a whole bunch of Super Nintendo games, the boxes. And almost every one of these, from here over, were just box manual, and they were brand new. Literally, the guy who bought them, took the games out, put them away, and just forgot about them until recently. And was like, "Oh, do you want these?" Video game stuff, so I do have some of my toys out. I try to keep it down to, with wrestling, I try to keep it to Sting, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the Ultimate Warrior, just kind of 3 big guys that I loved growing up.
Nice.
My favorite was when I downsized my collection, I had a whole bunch of Power Ranger stuff, but I was the White Ranger and the Green Ranger was my favorite one. So I kind of only kept Tommy and only that stuff.
Tell you what's really catching my eye is that Power Rangers board game. I love the art, dude. The art looks so good on that.
That's one of my favorite things is the board game art. Sometimes playing it wasn't a lot of fun.
Right.
There's a lot of times real super generic and kind of the same Monopoly style game.
Yeah.
But it was that artwork, and you just always would have to buy it and play it.
If you had to pick one piece on this entire shelf that's your favorite piece from top to bottom, what would you pick?
It's not, and that's another thing too, is I have my Ghostbusters stuff here on the bottom, so my Ecto 1 from when I was a child.
Oh, that's from your childhood? Dude,
yeah,
nice.
But, it's kind of a cheat, so I'd go with the Firehouse.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
my Firehouse. I know it's missing some pieces and stuff like that, but the Ghostbusters Firehouse, and now with the movie, I just went to a toy show recently and I saw the prices of the firehouse and some of these things, it's like, oh, they're pretty high.
Is that a Mario Bros VHS?
Yeah.
Dude, those are super hard to find.
Yeah, that was a thrift store find. I'm constantly going to thrift stores, flea markets, pawn shops, things like that. This was a thrift store find, and so was this kind of recently too.
What is this Game Boy Advance thing I'm seeing on the wall here?
It's like a choose your own adventure book.
No kidding.
So like, yeah.
Dude, I love stuff like that, man.
Alrighty, so my setup here, actually every one of these consoles is hooked up and ready to go, except for the Sega CD. Only because that takes 3 powers for the 32X, the Sega Genesis, and the Sega CD. Oh yeah, Sony Trinitron. So like, I'm lucky. I come across TVs that seems to be kind of often. I've actually, a couple of my buddies have gotten those JVC D series. They're this huge like CRT TVs that everybody's kind of looking for. I found 3 of those.
Wow.
Sony Trinitron, 2019. I found 2 of these back to back. I found this one. It's like a 27-inch. I paid $19.99 for it at a thrift store.
Seeing a solid little PS1 collection here.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like, there's not a ton of filler either. I had somebody recently. It was like, how many games do you have that are over a certain price? I said, I don't have any games that are under that price. Like literally at this point, even like the cheaper like Twisted Metal games that were like a $20 game, like a cheaper game, those have gone up to like $40.
Oh yeah.
Like, so there is no like cheapish game. They're all like getting rarer and harder to find. Breath of Fire is one of my favorite. Capcom makes some amazing games. I picked up 3 or 4 years ago this Castlevania for a decent price, and I'm like, the next time I find a black label for a decent price, I'm gonna trade it out. Well, I'm still waiting. Zelda fan to the point where like it was overgrowing from a little small section to a shelf to its own like kind of corner at this point.
Would you call this a Zelda shrine?
Yes, yeah. Absolutely, 100% my shrine to Zelda. So the thing too was I remember playing Zelda on the NES and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Anytime my cousin was playing it, I just was leaving the room. I didn't like it. I wanted to play Excite Bike. I wanted to play Super Mario. But now when A Link to the Past came out on the Super Nintendo, it was one of the first games I almost beat, essentially. Like with my friends over a weekend, we played it nonstop. I didn't like sleep, pretty much playing it. And I kind of got addicted to Zelda.
Am I seeing a Majora Mask soundtrack? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Is that an officially licensed soundtrack?
Yeah, and in fact,
really?
It was sealed.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, it was sealed. And I got this at the Goodwill bins, but it was cracked. So the case was cracked. It's a Club Nintendo.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't even know that existed.
Neither did I until I literally I think I saw the back of it and I saw Club Nintendo sticking out.
Yeah.
And I pulled it out and it was sealed and it just had a big crack in the back and it didn't damage it at all and I just replaced it.
Is that a vintage Link bookmark I'm seeing?
So this is a vintage Link bookmark.
Dude.
So sourcing, one of the ways that if you've ever gone to Half Price Books.
Oh yeah.
So Half Price Books has an online store. I would suggest utilizing it. Sometimes they have like a bookmark like this for like $5 and you do some research and you immediately go to eBay and you see one for like $200 and some dollars. And you're like, I think I'll take the chance of $5. Like,
Yep. Goodiez is a brand new buying and selling video game marketplace. And for today, I'm going to focus on how easy it is to list a game for sale on the app. Once you open the app, you want to click on List. Click List for Sale. Type in the name of the game that you are selling. Click the correct console and game you're trying to sell. Select the condition of the game. In this case, this copy I'm selling is in very good condition. Enter the price you want to sell the game at. Then you can either select Take a Picture to use the built-in camera or select Gallery to select pictures you've taken ahead of time. Once you've added the pictures, put anything else you want to put in the title and the description. Once you've filled in the title and the description, enter the length, width, height, and weight of the package. And finally, click Review Listing. Decide whether or not you want to sign up for their verification service for an additional fee, which will protect you as a seller. After you've confirmed your address, simply review the listing. It will show you what your fees will be and what your estimated payout will be, and click Place Ask. There it is, the game I just listed for sale. It is that easy to list a game for sale on Goodiez.
Started off as my handheld shelving, but then it became my Nintendo shelving. I have these custom game cases for my Game Boy games. So just kind of like I have for my bit boxes, I have these for like the loose cartridges.
Those look good.
And these things also.
Different company?
Yep. Yeah, my Nintendo Switch collection. So
oh yeah, let's talk about
that. So when I got back into collecting, that was the current thing, which is still kind of is, but limited run.
Mm-hmm.
When I got into, I was playing PlayStation 4, and when I was like, I'm gonna collect some stuff, I spoke to a guy that's kind of local to me, and so we had like a relationship where like we both sent off cards to get graded, which is like another, everybody in the video game world loves graded stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he would tell me about like limited run and the niche type games. The Jay and Silent Bob game was coming out from limited run, and so I bought that one. And from there on, I picked up tons and tons of limited run stuff, and I haven't even opened half of them at this point because I haven't got to play them in alphabetical order. Like I think I have like 30 limited run games.
Wow.
The collections that I still haven't like. So these digitally came out for like $4.99. So like I bought this game. And then before this game even came out, I had already had it digitally for $4.99.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made I think this was the first one I got. And I was like, okay, so if this is the way it's going to work, I'm just going to order them, keep them sealed, and see if I can get digital. And literally every single one of these, except for this one, I have digital. And the Nintendo Powers, I pick these up when I can. They're so freaking hard to find anymore.
They are.
We just went to a show recently and they have them priced, and I see the cheapest one was $10, and they went up to like $30 for the commons.
Mm-hmm.
And he had more expensive ones I didn't even look at because it was just like, oof.
One thing that's cool I'm seeing that you never see are Sega Vision magazines. Those are super rare.
So Sega Vision magazine, basically the Game Gears here, the launch of the Game Gears, I found one through my travels, basically. They're not easy to find. All right, so thanks to Big Money Bowman, I figured out this Nintendo Power is the one with the Pokemon Eon card inside it. Apparently it's like a $200-some plus Nintendo Power.
No kidding.
Yeah, like I don't have very much Pokemon stuff, but I just picked up the controller recently. But I have the Pikachu system and the Game Boy Color.
Nice.
And when I was younger, we had a Funtastic, but this one just seemed completely different.
It is.
Like it was the first special edition that I'd ever seen. So I always wanted it, and I wasn't really much of a Pokemon fan. No matter how much I really tried to get into it, get my brother into it, it was just one of those things where it's like, it was a special edition at least. So like I try to get a lot of the special edition stuff. So like I'll try to get like a Mario 3D Maker special edition.
I love that you have one of these in the box too. You don't ever see those with the box.
So I got this from Jared from Retro Gaming Pandemic.
Oh, shout out to Jared.
Yeah, so my favorite thing too is this got a Hills sticker on it.
Nice.
Which is like, local department store, so I just like always like I went there during like the 80s and the 90s, so it's like you almost see this on the shelf for Christmas. I was really big into PlayStation, so I have like the PlayStation 3 pretty much ultimate setup, just kind of almost in the box. I have the surround sound. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I haven't. No, I've never. I didn't even know that existed.
So this is the Japanese one. So it's the only difference is the power outlet. They use a different power, and it was like $10 for the correct one. But the TV, the PlayStation monitor, I can't call it a TV because as I bought it, the guy corrected me when I got it.
Is that what that is?
So this is the PlayStation 3D monitor.
No way.
And I got this on a Wednesday at our local flea market. And there was probably like 10 vendors. It was outside, it was freezing cold. I saw this shape, which is that weird, ugly PSP Go style shape.
Yeah.
I saw that shape and I ran over to it. And I was like, how much for the PlayStation TV? He goes, it's not a TV, it's a monitor. Well, how much for the PlayStation monitor? He goes, it's $20 and it works. And I swear I couldn't pull out $20 fast enough. Like I just like handed him $20 and just like ran away with the monitor. So the Tiger handhelds, I was able to pick up a bunch of these over like the last couple of years. Most recently I picked up like 3 or 4 of them at the same antique mall. The guy had them priced at pretty like real low price, so I was able to kind of get them all. But this one, Independence Day, is definitely one from my childhood.
Oh, nice.
And by that I mean I was like probably 16.
So that's literally the one from your child. Dude, that's awesome.
Like a year or 2 ago, I went through my mom always hated me going through like our stuff. Like she packed it away, put it underneath the steps, and would never let us go through it. But she left town, and and I went through all of her stuff. And I found like Game Boy manuals from some of my Game Boy games, some Sega manuals. I found this. I found a bunch of VHS. Like,
Nice.
I was so ecstatic. Literally, it was like all kinds of like Nickelodeon VHS.
So even though we've reached the end of your game room, that's not the end of the tour, because what's waiting for us upstairs?
Whole another level. VHS, DVDs, music, all kinds of stuff. I've been collecting VHS for a really long time, and thankfully in the last year I've been able to kind of pull them out and put them out on the shelves. Big into horror, and that seems to be like one of those ones that just keeps going up and up and up in price. Like there's Evil Dead 2, and the Army of Darkness. You have your Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi. This has been done a million times. It's on Blu-ray, it's on 4K. They have a new TV series, but for some reason the VHS still has a bunch of value. If anybody remembers VHS when they first came out, they're really, really expensive.
Yes.
Like I have Slapshot on VHS that my dad paid like $100 for when it first came out.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like that's when you would want a VHS, you had to go to like a video game or video store, and they would pull out like a catalog, and they would like make a phone call, and it would be like, okay, well this one's going to cost you $100, $200. Because I mean VHS, they're renting them out, so they're making their money that way. So if you wanted to pay, wanted your own VHS, you had to pay up a lot of times. The Super Mario Brothers movie and The Wizard kind of like bleed over to my love in video games. These took forever to find.
Yeah.
Like The Wizard is going way up in price.
Tommy, can I pick out a movie that I'm noticing? What's up?
Look at Jared.
Yo, can we talk about Ready to Rumble and how amazing of a movie this is?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Ready to Rumble?
Explain this movie. You're gonna do it way better than me.
So Ready to Rumble, you have David Arquette and Scott Conn. Their favorite wrestler is Oliver Platt, who is the King, Jimmy the King, and he gets fired on television and just kind of like cast away. And so the movie is basically them going to find Jimmy the King, building him up to for his ultimate rematch for the heavyweight title. And this movie is horrible. And it's got a ton of real professional wrestlers in it. It was done with WCW.
But it's hilarious.
Yes.
It's so funny. Like it's your type of humor too, RetroWolf. You would love it.
It was one of those.
Jesus, Jared. That was on camera.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff I haven't got completely out yet, put on the shelves, but I have a huge Kevin Smith section. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. So this is there's gonna be a shelving that's gonna be kind of up here with nothing but Kevin Smith stuff, and I have some pretty rare stuff actually. Besides your Blockbuster rental, Jersey Girl, Jay and Silent Bob, super groovy cartoon movie. Where it was kind of like a GoFundMe type thing. And the funny thing was I had this because it's signed by Jason Mewes on the front, Kevin Smith on the back. I had it framed up for a while and I lost the DVD. And I was like, oh crap, I lost the DVD, let me replace it. And I looked it up on eBay. There's one copy ever.
Really?
And it's from Australia. When cassettes first came out in the era of 8-tracks, you had these things called paper cassettes, paper labels. The cases look like this.
Oh wow.
They're like a VHS case almost. And each one of these have labels that were taped on. So they'll have literally tape on a bunch of these, masking tape. Definitely a really awesome collection where there was Led Zeppelin, Best of Cream with Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix. Thank you for joining me and touring my video game and all my VHS. My name is the Millennial Collector Ohio. I'm on YouTube and Instagram. Have a good one.